Hello everybody and welcome to today's After School Club Make It. My name is Kim. I'm a community learning specialist with Do Space. And today we are going to be doing our first project of our February Take and Makes, a Zoetrope. So this is what we are making today. So if you were one of the folks that picked up our Take and Make kit from here at Do Space, you should have everything you need. Otherwise, if you don't, I'm going to go over everything that you will need to make this project. But basically, this is what we are making today. It is a Zoetrope. So basically, it is, this is just an example of it's kind of like a type of a Victorian toy that is essentially like a round flip book or a flip book on wheels. So if I can get this angled correctly, you should be able to kind of see the legs of the horse, but basically, if we look into it, there are individual images of animation, and when they're separated by these slots. And so when you line up your eye, looking through it, you can see the animation of what is on the inside. And so it's a pretty cool little toy. So this is what we're making today, and the fun thing about this is that I have, if you have our Take and Make kit, I have the template here for you. Like, the template should be included, and then it also includes a blank one. Otherwise, if you don't, there are templates online that I know you can find if you that have animations on them, or maybe blank ones that you could draw yourself. But yeah, this one is obviously of a horse. A little art history knowledge for y'all. This is actually some imagery, I think copies of imagery of some of the first photography of a horse, in which it shows like how a horse actually runs. They're like kind of pre-18, we'll say middle of the 1800s, kind of how horses were depicted running in art were actually incorrect. And so a photographer was able to set up a camera and take photographs just like of horses running, and to get an accurate depiction of how horses run. So, a little fun fact for you. Yeah, anyway, so our Take and Make kit. So this, if you were one of our folks that got our Take and Make kit, this is what you should have in them. You should have in your kits a couple of templates. One with the animation, the horse animation, and one that is blank. So you can have two of those animations, or two of those Zoetrope templates. You will need a CD, just a regular blank old CD. Maybe you have some of those floating around if you don't have the kit. A chopstick or a skewer or something that's any kind of like, a dowel rod, something that's kind of tapered at the end. You are going to also need two fender washers. These are an 1/8 inch by an 1/8 inch. So what that means is that the circumference of the circle, the inner circle of this washer, is 1/8 of an inch, and then, sorry, not the circumference. Circumference is around the diameter. Let's get things right, friends. The diameter is across. The diameter of the circle is 1/8, and the diameter of the entire washer is an inch. So that it's a 1/8 by 1 inch. And so I just bought these at a local hardware store. So you can get these everything there. And then your kit will also have some tape. Note that I may not have given you enough tape. This is just kind of starter tape. You most likely are going to need more tape than is what it's in your kit. This is just like blue painter's tape, but you can use masking tape or Scotch tape, really any kind of tape you would like. But this is just some blue painter's tape. And then you will also need some scissors. So yeah, so this is everything you are going to need to make your zoetrope. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start us out using the one with the image. So like if you're watching this or if you're watching this later, you can, you know, check out to see how it's set up. But if you want, you can always pause here and you can make your own individual animation if you'd like. So maybe like something hopping, like a frog hopping, or, you know, really anything. It's just, you know, it looks like on the top there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 animations, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. So you'll want, it looks like as many, basically the animations kind of line up where with these white bars are going to be what we cut out. We're going to, those are going to be kind of your slots, as you can see here, to look through. So that's about, you know, if you want to kind of make your own, you are absolutely more than welcome to. But I'm going to be leading us through how to do it with the template with the horses on it. So first thing we are going to need to do is cut out our templates. So you'll need your scissors to cut out these templates. And something that I found with mine is that the template that I used was a little bit short. You can kind of see how it's a little bit wonky. I tried to make it even on one side, and by doing that, it didn't quite even out on the other. So what I would suggest is, and I'm hoping it doesn't make the animation too wonky, or too, you know, there might be like a stopping point where I'm not really sure, but we're gonna try it out. I'm actually gonna kind of go a little bit wide on this bottom one. So I'm actually going to cut it a little bit wide, just because it didn't really line up greatly. And really it turned out fine. I mean, it works. So, whatever works best for you. The nice thing about it is you can try it out on one, and if it doesn't work, and then you have another. So there are always options for that. Oh, I just said I was going to go wide on this one, didn't I? I'm going to cut this in half, actually. I think that'll be a little bit easier. Just get that cut in half. And go a little bit wider on this side, too. So we're just going to cut this guy out. Again, it doesn't have to be super perfect, but you definitely don't want to cut into your animations. So we'll move that to the side, and then we're going to cut out our top one. I'm just going to snip that side off. Okay. So yeah, so these are old school type toys, which is kind of cool. You know, obviously time before movies and iPhones and smartphones where you could watch stuff on your you know, devices. You kind of had to, people had to be a little bit more creative, I guess, to get some entertainment. And so it's just a fun way to kind of see, you know, what was, you know, what was hip about 100 years ago. But even earlier than that, Victorian times is like the 1880s, so 150 years ago. Yeah, so what we're going to do next is we are going to fold this in half, and I'm going to fold it in half so that the pictures are out, because we are then going to cut out these slits. And the easiest way is just kind of folding it in half the best you can, because it's kind of a thin piece of paper. Because of that, basically we're folding on this dotted line to the best of our abilities. And then we are going to take our scissors again, and what I found was the easiest, just to kind of cut up each side and then flip that tab up and then cut across. Boom, easy peasy. So you're going to do that across this one, and then we will do the same to our second one. So these are going to make our slits that we are able to go through. So I'm pretty sure, kind of like the science behind it, it's kind of like, you know, kind of like I said, it's like a flip book on a wheel. And so kind of that action of, you know, you're spinning it, and because you're spinning it so quickly, the pictures just kind of come together and look like as if it was moving. And, you know, it's kind of a little bit the same idea of like stop motion animation, where you are putting frames together, you're taking pictures. Basically, yeah, you're just taking a picture of something and then making a little movement, taking a picture and making a little movement, and then when you, like, you know, on certain software, when you put them all together and you know, you goes through all those pictures quickly, boom, it is stop motion animation. I mean, and basically, this is also, you know, movies. We know movies were shot on, maybe some of you are going to be too young for this, what's called film. And you were able to kind of go through the film and see all the individual stills of each frame that was kind of filmed, that was shot. And so again, and then it was put into a projector, and then that projector, you know, the film was kind of on it, projector was round on a reel, or on a round reel, and the projector, you know, passed the picture frames, in front of a light, which then lit it up, and it did it so quickly that it looked like it was moving. So this is basically, like, this one Victorian toy is kind of just like the precursor to moving movies, which is pretty cool. Moving movies. Okay, so we have all of these. This one, we're going to do the same to this one. I'm just going to kind of fold it in half. So I'm folding on our dotted line here. And then we are going to cut these slots out. And the nice thing about this project that it's pretty easy. You know, it doesn't take a lot of, you know, even if you didn't get any of our, if you weren't one of the folks that got one of our kits, you know, a lot of these things you might just have around the house, and, you know, you can experiment with different things. Maybe you don't have a CD, but you could obviously, you know, get a piece of cardboard that was, you know, a general size of a CD. I mean, I think this is like maybe, you know, 7 inches wide. The diameter of this is maybe 7 inches wide. So you could get a thick piece of cardboard and you know, kind of get something that was the general size of that. I would start smaller, just because if you have the template, if you have a template, I guess it depends on what template you have, but it's always, you know, and it'll make more sense. We're kind of going to be like bringing it all together. It's easier to overlap than it would be to, oh, that was not a very good, let's see if I can do that one a little bit better. Okay, there we go. Okay, get these little scrappy guys out of our way. Okay, so now we have our 2 templates, and I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. You can kind of see there, I mean, it's hard to see because I'm on a white. Let's see if I can find something to put this on. So here we go. That's a little bit better. You can kind of see this is the little bit of excess that I am going to be using. So hopefully I don't think that'll be too big of an issue. And you know what? I actually have an idea for this. So, okay, so what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna turn this over and we are going to make sure we are going to actually tape these together. And what we're gonna do is kind of butt them right next to each other side by side. We don't want to overlapping much. We just want to, you know, put them together side by side. And then you're going to need a piece of your tape. Now, like I said, I don't think this is going to be enough tape, depending how much you use, but I don't think this will be enough tape. But you don't need an entire side of tape to do this. I'm actually going to cut this. Just got to kind of cut a sliver off and see if I can get that. And then I'm just going to tape that together, just like that. And then I'm going to bring over the other side. So we're going to want to fold this in, and we want our animation to be on the inside of our circle because we don't want it like this. We don't want to be seeing the animation on the outside. We want it on the inside. So we're going to be doing this. I'm actually going to cut another piece of tape. Again, I'm not using a whole piece, just a sliver of it. And we're gonna bring those together, butt them side by side, try not to overlap them. And I'm going to just tape that together. And you know what I'm actually gonna do, friends? I think what I'm gonna do on this one, because I have a little bit, I'm just gonna actually cut this down and make another slot right here. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna just cut this kind of in the general, and I'm gonna make another slot. So it makes it wider, but then we have kind of like another little slot to look through. Let's see, do I wanna do the same on the side? I think so. Okay, does that make sense what I'm doing? I'm just making another slot. And what I might do is try and kind of peel some of that off because it's not doing good up there because I just cut it. And I'm going to use this bit for this lower part just to make it a little bit more stable. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do the same to this side. So I'm going to cut it and just make another slot. If I can, in a sort of kind of good way. Oh, my hand's in the way. Okay. And then, yeah, I think that what I might do, I'm going to take some of the tape off of the bits that I cut. Now I'm just going to, that's the nice thing about painter's tape. You can kind of move it as you need to. Okay, boom. And there you have your circular template. So now we are going to be putting this on our, oh yeah, that actually looks so much nicer. That fits a lot nicer than that. So I would suggest if you're making this and you have the template, go a little bit. I bet I went like maybe 1/8 of an inch long. I think that really helped. Okay, so then what we're going to be doing is we are going to next tape, and this may be tricky. You might need a second pair of hands for this, just because you're kind of balancing a lot. You know, you're having to hold tape and hold your template kind of to your CD. And so what I'm going to do is like I said, we're going to be taping our CD. I'm going to actually put like half of the tape on my CD and then kind of butt it up. You can kind of see how I'm trying to butt it up to the edge of my template and just bring it up and over and around. So I got one And then again, hopefully, oh, and hopefully this wax paper will, oh, one moment friends, my light went off. Okay. Tape shouldn't stick to the wax paper. Okay, I'm gonna cut a little bit off. And then I'm gonna go to the other side. I may have even made it a little big. Holy buckets. Who'd have thunk? Too small the first time and a little too big the second. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, and then tape it around. So you can kind of see it's around there. I'm going to tape it. Yeah, look at that. Probably one on each of my sides. So basically 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you have more tape, you can do it more. Ooh. And then hopefully your tape doesn't do this. Hopefully it doesn't stick. The whole reason we put it on wax paper is because we have been successful of it not sticking. So if it did, I'm sorry. I have some extra tape that I'm going to be using for occasions just like this. And again, if that does work, any tape works. You know, it doesn't have to be painter's tape. It could be masking tape, scotch tape, anything like that. So, okay, and then I'm going to do one more. Onto this side. And so for the most part, you should have then your nice round template to look through. So you can kind of see how that works. Perfect. Okay. Now, the next thing we need is your washers and your chopstick. So again, this was just, you know, next time you go take out for maybe any Chinese or Japanese food, you can ask for an extra pair of chopsticks to use. And then these are an 1/8 of an inch by an inch fender washers. That's what they're called, or flat washers. So what you're going to do is you're going to put one on one end, and the nice thing why you want it to be tapered, and the reason why chopsticks work nicely is because they're tapered, which means it's thicker. So most of the length of our chopstick is one thickness, and then it gets smaller at the end. So it's tapered, meaning it's, you know, getting smaller on one end. So which you can kind of see because I can get it easily on one end, but then I can't press it down anymore. So you want to get it nice and press down pretty good. And then you are going to, what we're going to do is basically be sticking this on here just like that. And we're going to be putting then our second washer on top. And we are going to then, what we want to do is tape the top of your chopstick to your washer. Now, how am I going to do this? Oh. Okay, I'm going to put this down for a second so I can get my piece of tape. Again, you might need a second pair of hands for this. You know, maybe you're doing this with a sibling or a grown-up. So I'm going to put that back on. I'm going to put my second washer on just like that. And then I'm just going to, I want to make sure I'm not getting any tape onto the CD itself or the circular piece. Maybe you're using a piece of cardboard. So we're running it mostly on the washers. I'm going to go to the other side. See if I can press it down and kind of around. So you might need to bring up some ends, some corners so it doesn't stick. And then, my friends, we are basically done. And then you can give it a roll. So this, you should be able to, oh, this actually turned pretty nicely. So yeah, so the first time when I made mine, just some kind of troubleshooting, my first one that I made, I had pressed my washer, my second washer, the one on top of the CD, I pressed it down too hard, like on top of your chopstick. You don't want to do that because you want to make sure that there's not too much friction so that you can easily spin it, because if it's too, this top one's on top of that chopstick too tightly, it's not going to spin easily. So you want it to be able to spin pretty easily. So that, my friends, is a zoetrope. So you can see how you can see the horse running around and around and around. So yeah, so the nice thing about this, if you need to, the nice thing about painter's tape is you can, it's pretty easily then to disassemble. Or if you have more materials like this, maybe you have an extra, basically the CDs are maybe the most obscure thing anymore that you might have to get. If you're a youngin', you might have to ask your parents, your grown-ups that are with you, maybe they can dig out an old CD that they don't listen to anymore. Scratched one that's in the bowels of your car. I know I have them somewhere. So this is from the template. Again, inside your kit is a blank one, so you can then draw your own pictures, your own animation to do your very own. And this is obviously in black and white, but if you want, you could do it in color. You can, make it with markers or crayons or whatever. Colored pencils would be really great. Another option is looking online and seeing if there's any templates online that you can print out if you are wanting a different animation. But yeah, it's a pretty cool, I feel like it's a lot of fun. It's fun, it's soothing to just kind of spin and look at it. Maybe this will be the new fidget spinner of 2021. You're in class, your Zoom class, and you can just spin this around and watch it while you're listening. So anyway, yeah, you guys, thank you for joining me for today's Make It, Take It, Make. Next week we are going to be making circuit room alarms. So hopefully we will have a successful be successful in making circuits. I'm just now realizing that it says After School Club Make It Crochet Pineapple. It is not supposed to say that. It is supposed to say Zoetrope. My apologies. Oopsies. I'll make sure that changes next time. But anyway, yeah, we are making a door alarm for next week, and that's going to be just for next week. And then our 3rd and 4th week of February, we are going to be kind of making a photo light noise sensor. So yeah, hopefully you can join us for our next week's Take and Make for Make It. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. If you don't already have one and you're watching this video, please make sure you're going to our Do Space Bean Stack website. So we are doing this, basically it's for libraries. We're using it for our programs. So if you are participating in any of our after school club programs, it's for grown-ups too. If you have any grown-ups that are watching any of our webinars, you can the whole family can make accounts under kind of like one account, and each have their own. And we have activities that you can do, and you can say you were part of our Take and Make or any of our after school club programs, and it gets you tickets that then you can kind of put those towards different prizes, and then we have drawings for different prizes. So hopefully you will go to that. That is dospace.beanstack.org. dospace.beanstack.org. Okay, friends, thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you again next week. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye-bye.